All right, y'all. So I kind of have a pet peeve for people who abuse their authority. I just went to, I love kickboxing in Beaverton, and I was on time. In fact, I was early. I arrived at 6:11, and the woman, she just lied and said it was 6:15 when I came in there, but it probably was 6:15 because I had did a few things in the car and then went inside. So it was about 6:15 by the time I walked through the doors, and she was like, "It was 6:15 when you walked in." And when she said we have a 5 minute policy, the reason why she said there's a 5 minute policy for being late, I wasn't even late. I was already in there. She was like, okay, you got a few minutes. So there was a misunderstanding. So last time when I came on time, they didn't even start the class for the next 5 minutes. So they were waiting for everybody to get started, which was including me because I had to go to the restroom when I came there. So the weird thing is, I was in there and I thought I had a misunderstanding. I thought she was saying I had a few minutes because the class had already started. So basically they started early. They started earlier than 6:15. They were already getting started and got going. So I walked in there and I was like, and one on top of that, I couldn't even book the class on the app. And when I went in there, the longer blonde hair woman, that had a blonde moment, she told me that I can't do it on my phone, even though that's what they give us the app for, that I couldn't do it on my phone, and that I was supposed to do it on in the building on their little smart device that they have at the front reception desk area. So I tried to do it on there. She was like, it's okay, I got it all set. I'll go ahead and put you in the system. And so I said, okay, cool. And so I decided to go back there and start working out. Well, I went to the restroom first and I thought I was waiting for that class to finish. So I sat outside of the mat because they have the mat with the weight bags, the those, I forgot what they call it, the punching bags or whatever. But so I waited. I thought the class was about to start, but it looked like they were still going. So I was like, okay, this class seems to be going on for quite some time. So I was like, well, maybe this is the class. So just in case, I didn't want to just intrude and be rude, so I just started working out with right along with them outside of the mats, like off on the regular floor. And then the coach, she looked over, she was like, okay, I see you're getting it, girl, or something like that, she said. And I started to laugh, and then I start working out with them. It's even on camera because there's a camera that was looking right at the area where I was at. So, and I told my coach this because so anyways, I thought the class was going to be a bit, so after I got out the bathroom, I walked to the car. After I did the little workout for a little bit, and then I took a break. I drank some water, and then I went out to the car to do something, and then I went back in. She was like, is everything all right? Is everything okay? And then I said, yeah, I just was waiting for the class or something. I can't remember that part what I said. But then she was like, the class has already started. She was like, well, there's a 5 minute late policy, so we're probably gonna have to turn you away. And I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't say it that way. I was like, but I was here early. I was on time. So why am I getting turned away for being late? Because I went back outside and came back in is why she wanted to turn me away. And I feel it was deeper than that. You know how people, and they have their little issues, but I'm not going to get into what that is. It's just that at this point I gotten better at reading people and the reasons, like their intentions behind some of the decisions that they make when they are in a position of authority and they want to abuse it. So anyway, she had a blonde moment. That's what I write it off as. She just had a blonde moment. And I told her I was going to talk to Kale about it, which is the coach that I originally signed up with. I did go and ask him, is it possible I can get a refund and get my money back because I not too long ago started, or if I could just do the classes up until the point for the amount of money that was the first half of the payment that was taken out for a part of the challenge. Either or. And I was like, I'm paying for this class, I'm not going to allow someone to treat me that way, especially if I'm paying for it. I can see if it was free, then I'll be like, okay, I'll get out of here, I understand. But this is something that I'm actually paying for, and I'm trying to like make sure I stay with the course of doing what I'm supposed to do, doing what I paid to do. And she turned me away even though I was already in there. I even was working out with them outside of the mat, and I told her it was simply a misunderstanding, ma'am. And then she said, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to turn you away. I'm sorry about that. I didn't even care about her second sorry, because I was like, you're doing this, like, it's like I started feeling in my spirit, you're doing this for some other reason that's unnecessary. Because sometimes people try to abuse their authority and they want to they want to feel like they have some sort of power, so they make certain choices just to do that. And I know it sounds stupid, but there's people out here who do stupid stuff like that, and it's mostly white people in there. They are honoring a Jamaican woman in there, and I have West Indian roots and Nigerian roots, so I'm feeling that. I like that they did that, but the people that I originally signed up with, they weren't there at this class, so I feel like if they were there, I would have been able to talk to them and tell them what was going on. They would have let me go ahead and continue. Like, what was it gonna hurt with me moving in between, me starting in between one of the exercises when I was already working out outside of the mat. She made it sound as if that class was about to end, and I needed to wait for them to end, and then the next class was about to start. That was my understanding. So I was like, okay, because the last time I came there, they didn't start right away earlier than the time that they said that they were going to start, and said we have a 5-minute policy. I was like, okay, well, I was here on time, so what are you talking about? And she told me, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to turn you away. My old self would have been like, B, you can kiss my A. I would have went right back over there and started exercising. Like, you ain't finna control me and tell me what I'm gonna do or what I'm not gonna do, especially if I'm paying for the class. But I just listened to what she said, and I just got up out of there. And I was like, and then I said, I'm gonna talk to Kel about this, which is the coach. And so I messaged them on the app about the situation, and told them what was going on. And I felt a little bit disrespected, and I feel like it was a spiritual thing. So I don't fully like blame the individual that had a blonde moment, but you know, things happen, and it could have been for the best, because now my time is free when I still have some good daylight and sunshine left where I could go complete other things. But I really did want to go there and put in that hour worth of work. So I'm going to do it elsewhere now. I'm going to do it at home. Last night I was shadow boxing anyway. So just because I'm not at the physical place doesn't mean it's going to stop me from working out. So I'm not going to do the second part of the payment. And I feel like I even want to discuss this with the head dude in Oregon City about my experience, how it was unprofessional and unethical. I was already there. Like, they need to teach that person, like the people who work there, like etiquette for and ethics when you're dealing. Like, they need to do this across the board with so many different businesses. It's ridiculous. That's I almost thought of creating a company of my own that go and be like a QA, a quality assurance for the way people run their businesses, to make sure it's like up to standards, to like legal standards of how people are treated, like doing surveys and stuff like that. Maybe one of you guys can do it, and I think they already got a business like that based off of that show called Undercover Boss or something like that. So yeah, but anyways, I would just share my experience because it kind of hurt a little bit, because I had to, calm myself down and just obey what this skinny twig little blonde woman was saying. She was being a Karen a little bit, and I ain't trying to be too mean, because sometimes people just can't help it. They just that's just how they are. But I should call the police and say call the police and be a black Karen on her. But like, they'll be like, stop messing with us. They'll be like, oh, so you're calling the cops because she told you can't come to the class. That's how stupid these people be looking sometimes. But I dare not do anything as ridiculous as that. I'm just making fun of the situation, guys. So don't, if it hurts you that bad and you take it so personally, I apologize. I didn't mean to hurt your little feelings. I was being sarcastic. But yeah. Anyways, like, what is that gonna hurt? But it just made me pissed off a little bit, because I put in the effort to make sure I was here at least on time. I arrived at 6:11. The class starts at 6:15, and last time I came, they didn't start until 5 minutes after the class was initially supposed to begin. And I know, because I was counting the time, because I have to make sure my son is in safe care, and for the duration of the time, and counting travel time as well. I want to make sure my son doesn't have to spend not a second longer in someone else's care if I don't have to. I mean, as much as I can, to make sure that doesn't have to happen, because I know how people are out here. I try to protect them, but sometimes I know that I'm a little bit overprotective, but I'm not overprotective to the extent that when he gets older, that it will be a hindrance to him. I'm not that kind of mom. Like, I'll be like, once he get older, go ahead, baby, go ahead and have your little space and do what you got to do. I'll make sure, God allowing me, God willing, he allows me to live long enough to be able to instill certain characteristics or traits in him, that maybe behavior patterns or something like that, if I can help it, so he can be a productive stable minded, mentally stable, emotionally stable young man. But yeah, it's just ridiculous, guys. So I just wanted to share that really quick experience, like how people do stuff and then you ruin it for the business when you hire nitwits like that to be in charge of certain situations and they don't handle it properly. But I feel a little bad saying that about her because I'm feeling like part of her was, in her mind, she was doing the right thing. Okay, so that's it. I'm just gonna leave it there. I had to talk about it because I had to get it off my chest. And two of my therapy sessions were canceled because my therapist was sick. And I think he is sick for real, but it worked out because I wanted a break because I wasn't feeling too comfortable with that therapist anymore all of a sudden because of another situation that happened when he started acting strange when I started saying certain things to him about my experience, with the gang stalking and stuff. But, anyways, uh, good luck to Mrs. Blondie, and that reminds me of Supercar Blondie or some that car video. I mean that car channel that's called, I think, Supercar Blondie or something like that. They show like some awesome cars. I'm a car girl, so yeah. Okay, guys. Well, I don't know how this is going to help you, but maybe in the future, think about how you, because I could have been in there and been ratchet and went and took my camera in there and started recording her and say, this woman didn't let me finish my class. I thought about it, but I was like, no, I don't really want to do that. It's too much energy. It's doing too much. It's doing too much. If I was a Karen like that, I would have. I've seen people record me that were gang stalking me, and I thought to go in the store and follow behind them and record them too, to let them see how it feels, to let them know I'm not afraid to do it right back to you. But I was like, you know what? Let God handle that. I'm just gonna go and do what I gotta do. This is exactly why I'm the type of person in the future, if God wills, I want to have some property where I don't have neighbors for at least a mile away, possibly. Or at least maybe like half a mile away, or not a mile away is too far. I still do like people enough that I wouldn't mind you being half a mile away, or 0.2 miles away. Yeah, let's say 0.2 miles. Like the next neighbor isn't as the closest a neighbor would be to me is 0.2 miles away from my property, because I like to be free. I'm a free spirited person. I don't need no Karens coming up in there trying to rule me when they know they don't want nobody trying to rule them. So goodbye. But anyways, guys, please let this be a learning lesson or a teaching moment that maybe do better with how you treat people, especially when you want to be treated a certain way. I've never turned somebody away. Like, to me, that just didn't make sense what she did. That's why I'm saying she probably had a blonde moment. I don't know. Okay, toodles.